Can you believe the audacity? My mother-in-law, a woman who had always presented herself as the epitome of grandmotherly love, left my 6-year-old daughter, Lily, alone in a house for 5 hours. Not only that, but when she returned, her first words to my terrified child were, "Don't move." It still sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. Was I wrong for completely cutting her out of our lives after that? Tell me honestly, what would you have done if it were your child? Let me take you back to how this nightmare began. My husband, Mark, and I had always had a somewhat strained relationship with his mother, Brenda. She was a woman of strong opinions, often unsolicited, and had a way of making you feel like you were constantly under her judgment. When Mark and I first started dating in college, I remember her scrutinizing me over dinner, asking invasive questions about my family's finances and my career aspirations. It was clear even then that I wasn't quite what she had envisioned for her son. Mark, bless his heart, always tried to mediate, to smooth things over, but Brenda's barbed comments always found their mark. When Lily was born, we thought things might change. A grandchild, a new phase of life, a chance for Brenda to soften. And for a while, it seemed like they did. Brenda would visit, cooing over Lily, bringing her little handmade blankets and tiny outfits. She'd offer to babysit, always with the caveat that we owed her for her time, but we brushed it off as just her quirky way. We were new parents, exhausted and grateful for any help we could get, even if it came with a side of passive aggression. As Lily grew older, Brenda's help started to feel less like assistance and more like an imposition. She had a very specific way she believed children should be raised, and it often clashed with our more relaxed approach. Lily needs more structure, she'd declare, criticizing our decision to let Lily choose her own clothes or have a later bedtime on weekends. Mark and I would try to politely explain our reasoning, but Brenda would just wave her hand dismissively, as if our modern parenting ideas were simply absurd. The biggest point of contention was always Brenda's unwavering belief that children should be seen and not heard, and certainly not coddled. She'd tell stories of how she raised Mark and his siblings, leaving them alone for hours, letting them fend for themselves. We always chalked it up to a different generation, a different era, and assured ourselves that she would never apply such outdated methods to our precious Lily. We were so wrong. This particular incident happened on a Saturday. Mark and I had a rare opportunity to attend a friend's wedding out of town. It was an adults-only event, and our usual babysitter had fallen ill. We were in a bind. Brenda, hearing of our predicament, grandly offered to watch Lily for the entire day and evening. "It's no trouble at all," she'd said, with a slight smirk that made me uneasy. "I raised 3 children. I think I can handle one little girl for a few hours." We were hesitant, given her past comments, but with no other options, and with Mark assuring me she'd be fine, we reluctantly agreed. We dropped Lily off at Brenda's house around 10 a.m., after packing her a bag with her favorite toys, snacks, and a change of clothes. Lily was excited. She loved visiting Grandma's house, despite Brenda's sometimes stern demeanor. We kissed Lily goodbye, reminding her to be a good girl, and Brenda promised to call if anything came up. The drive to the wedding venue was long, and my phone signal was spotty. We arrived just as the ceremony was starting. Throughout the day, I kept checking my phone, but there were no calls or texts from Brenda. I told myself it was a good sign. No news was good news. Lily was probably having a wonderful time, playing with Grandma's old dolls or watching cartoons. I tried to push the nagging feeling of unease to the back of my mind. The wedding was beautiful, and we enjoyed the reception, but a part of me was always hyper, aware of the time, counting down the hours until we could pick Lily up. Around 5 p.m., as the reception was winding down, I finally got a good signal and saw a missed call. It was Brenda. My heart leaped into my throat. I immediately called her back, my voice laced with anxiety. "Brenda, is everything okay? Is Lily all right?" There was a pause, and then Brenda's calm, almost bored voice answered, "Oh, yes, everything's perfectly fine, dear. Just wanted to let you know I had to pop out for a bit." My stomach dropped. "Pop out? What do you mean? Where did you go?" I asked, my voice rising. "Oh, just to the grocery store, then a quick stop at the dry cleaners, and I ran into Carol, so we had a lovely chat over coffee," she said, as if she were discussing the weather. "And Lily, was Lily with you?" I pressed, my mind racing through worst-case scenarios. "No, no, she was sleeping. I didn't want to wake her," Brenda replied, her tone implying I was being ridiculous. "I just told her not to move and left a note on the fridge. She's perfectly safe." My blood ran cold. "You left her alone? For how long, Brenda?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper, a tremor running through me. "Oh, probably just 5 hours or so," she said, as if it were a perfectly normal thing to admit. 5 hours. My 6-year-old daughter, alone in a house, for 5 hours. I could feel the anger, hot and visceral, rising within me. Mark, seeing the color drain from my face, came over and put an arm around me. "What's wrong?" he asked, sensing my distress. I just shook my head, unable to form words. We immediately left the wedding, our celebratory mood completely shattered. The drive back felt interminable, every mile filled with a sickening dread. My mind was a whirlwind of frantic thoughts. Was she scared? Did she cry? Did she try to find someone? What if there had been a fire? What if someone had broken in? The possibilities were endless and terrifying. I tried calling Brenda again, but she didn't answer. When we finally pulled up to Brenda's house, the front door was slightly ajar. My heart pounded against my ribs. We rushed inside, calling Lily's name. "Lily, sweetie, where are you?" We found her in the living room, curled up on the sofa, her face streaked with dried tears, her small body trembling. Her favorite teddy bear was clutched tightly in her arms. She looked up at us, her eyes wide with fear and relief. "Mommy, Daddy," she sobbed, scrambling off the couch and launching herself into my arms. I held her so tightly, tears streaming down my face, just whispering, "Oh, my poor baby, my poor baby." Mark, his face a mask of fury, scanned the room. "Where's Mom?" he demanded, his voice low and dangerous. Just then, Brenda walked in from the kitchen, a cheerful smile on her face. "Oh, you're here. I was just making a cup of tea. Did Lily tell you about our little adventure?" she said, completely oblivious to the raw terror she had inflicted upon her granddaughter and the volcanic anger simmering in Mark and me. Lily, still clinging to me, whimpered, "Grandma told me not to move, so I didn't. I was scared." Those words, "Grandma told me not to move," echoed in my head, a chilling testament to Brenda's callous disregard for Lily's safety and well-being. Mark stepped forward, his fists clenched. "Mom, what the hell were you thinking? You left a 6-year-old child alone for 5 hours. Are you out of your mind?" Brenda's cheerful demeanor immediately vanished, replaced by her familiar indignant scowl. "Don't you dare speak to me like that, Mark. I simply ran a few errands. She was sleeping soundly. I left a note. She knows the rules." "The rules?" I interjected, my voice shaking with rage. "The rule is you don't leave a child alone, especially not for 5 hours. She's 6, Brenda, not 16. Brenda bristled. "Oh, please, don't be so dramatic. I did it all the time with you children, and you all turned out just fine. You're overreacting." Overreacting? My daughter was terrified, abandoned, and she thought we were overreacting. That was the moment something snapped inside me. This wasn't just a difference in parenting styles anymore. This was a fundamental lack of judgment, a complete disregard for Lily's safety, and an inability to even comprehend the gravity of her actions. Mark, seeing my distress, gently pried Lily from my arms and sat her down, reassuring her that she was safe now. He then turned to his mother, his eyes blazing. "Mom, you put Lily in danger. You violated our trust. We trusted you, and you failed her, and you failed us." Brenda, still trying to maintain her air of superiority, scoffed. "Oh, for heaven's sake, Mark, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. She's fine, isn't she? No harm done." Those words, "no harm done," were the final straw. Harm asterisk was asterisk done. Lily was traumatized. Our trust in Brenda was shattered beyond repair. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have let it slide? Would you have tried to talk it out? Or would you have drawn a firm line? The next day, Mark and I had a long, agonizing discussion. Lily was still clingy and withdrawn, asking repeatedly if Grandma was going to leave her alone again. Her fear was palpable, and it solidified our decision. We couldn't, in good conscience, allow Brenda to be around Lily unsupervised ever again. In fact, we couldn't trust her at all. Mark, surprisingly, was entirely on my side. He had always tried to defend his mother, to make excuses for her behavior, but seeing Lily's terror, hearing those words, "Don't move," coming from his own daughter, had finally opened his eyes to the toxic nature of his mother's actions. We decided to confront Brenda one last time, to explain our decision directly and unequivocally. We went to her house, Lily safely at home with a trusted friend. The conversation was predictably volatile. Brenda refused to apologize, refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing. She insisted we were being ungrateful and overly sensitive. She accused me of turning Mark against her. "This is your doing, isn't it?" she snarled, pointing a bony finger at me. "You always thought you were better than me." Mark, however, stood firm. "Mom, this isn't about Sarah. This is about Lily. You put her at risk, and because of that, we can't trust you. We can't have you babysitting Lily anymore, and frankly, we need some space from you." Brenda's face contorted with rage. "Space? You're cutting me out of my granddaughter's life. You can't do that. I'm her grandmother. You lost that privilege when you left her alone, Mom," Mark said, his voice heavy with sorrow but firm with conviction. "Until you can understand what you did wrong and truly apologize, we can't have you in our lives. We need to protect Lily." The argument escalated, ending with Brenda screaming at us to get out of her house, accusing us of being ungrateful and heartless. We left, our hearts heavy, but our resolve unwavering. The aftermath was difficult. Brenda immediately launched a smear campaign, calling all of Mark's relatives, telling them we were keeping her granddaughter from her for no reason, that I was a manipulative wife who had isolated her son. Some relatives took her side, sending us angry texts and emails. Others, knowing Brenda's history, were more understanding, but it still created a rift in the family. Mark had to have some difficult conversations with his aunts and uncles, explaining the gravity of Brenda's actions. It wasn't easy, but he remained steadfast. Lily, thankfully, slowly started to recover. We showered her with extra love and reassurance, and we had many conversations about what happened, explaining that Grandma made a mistake and that she was always safe with us. We limited contact with Brenda to only supervised, brief visits during holidays, and even then, we were constantly on edge, watching her like a hawk. When Brenda tried to pull Lily aside or whisper things to her, we intervened immediately. Eventually, even those limited interactions became too much. Brenda continued to refuse to acknowledge her mistake, and her resentment festered. It became clear that as long as she was in our lives, even peripherally, there would always be this undercurrent of tension and potential danger. The decision to go no contact was agonizing, especially for Mark, but it was necessary for Lily's well-being and our peace of mind. It's been almost a year since we completely cut ties with Brenda. There are still moments of sadness, especially for Mark, who misses the idea of his mother, if not the reality of her. But Lily is thriving. She's confident, happy, and feels secure. That terrifying incident is fading into a distant memory for her, replaced by new, joyful experiences with people who truly cherish and protect her. We sometimes wonder if Brenda will ever truly understand the profound impact of her actions, but we're not holding our breath. Our priority is and always will be Lily, so that's our story, a difficult, heartbreaking one, but one that ultimately led us to protect our child and strengthen our family unit. I still grapple with the question of whether we handled it perfectly, but I know in my heart that we did what we had to do. Like this video, if you were on my side, if you believe that a child's safety comes above all else. Subscribe for more stories like this, where I share personal experiences and navigate complex family dynamics. And please share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section below. What would you have done? Was our decision too harsh or completely justified? I'm eager to hear your perspectives. I'll see you all in the next story.